Advisor for the Citizens Bank, and Wendy Belser, Director of Philanthropy and Membership for Brookgreen Gardens, to come to the stage to present our final award for the evening, the Lifetime of Leadership Award.
Well, I think everybody in this room knows Bob Jewell. I've had the pleasure of knowing Bob for about 2 decades. But Bob, I wasn't sure. I read somewhere that you started with Brookgreen. They brought you in kind of a part-time helper to kind of get started.
That was the initial strategy.
Yeah, and 12 years, and it took them 12 years to get you back out the door once you got started.
That's right. Yeah.
But I can tell you, if you know Bob, you know that's not the case. The board found out what they had in Bob, and they wouldn't let him go for 12 years. So Bob, we're happy for you tonight. We share in this recognition of a very special award to a very special person. We understand you've been moving to Arizona for a while, and we wish you well on that. However, go to Arizona, play some golf, take a little time off, but come back to Georgetown County. We need you. We need people like you in our community. So congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have been asked to participate in the presentation this evening to Bob Jewell for a lifetime of leadership. He's certainly the most influential leader that I have met in my career, and it's been a great pleasure working with him for the past 5 years at Brookgreen Gardens. We're honored to have Bob and Bob's wife, Tony, his son Colin, Colin's fiancée, Talia, as well as senior Brookgreen staff members, longtime colleagues, and all of you here tonight to share in celebrating this exceedingly well-deserved award. I just have to tell you that I first heard about Bob Jewell when my realtor and I were driving around looking at houses, and she pointed out one house and she said, "Oh, that's where the president of Brookgreen Gardens lives." And I think she was trying to say this is a reputable community. And I was impressed, but mostly that the head of a nonprofit organization was so famous. A few days later, I saw a photograph of Bob in the local newspaper. He was painting a bowl for the Habitat Super Bowl benefit. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. He's out supporting another nonprofit. And he's artistic, too. Finally, I met Bob in person a few weeks later for a job interview, and I've been very impressed ever since. I was asked to just say a few words about my experience of Bob as a leader at Brookgreen. So imagine, if you will, someone who simultaneously dedicates 6 or 7 days a week to steering our county's premier cultural resource and destination, while also immersing himself in the work of our community, complementing his professional commitments with service on nonprofit boards throughout the county, state, and nation. While there simply isn't enough time to list all of the organizations and committees to which Bob has given of his time and talents, I'll mention just that he currently serves on the boards of the Francis P. Bunnell Foundation, ETV Endowment of South Carolina, American Red Cross, National Sculpture Society, HGTC Foundation, Low Country Preparatory School, Brookgreen Gardens, Director of Large Gardens, and on the Georgetown County Tourism Management Commission. The leadership that Bob has provided Brookgreen over the past 13 years is incomparable, and we hope indelible. Bob and his family relocated to this area in 1995. By the time he came to Brookgreen Gardens, things had frankly become a little shaky, both in terms of its financial picture and its relationship to the community. Bob arrived with 32 years of executive experience with several national retail corporations, becoming Brookgreen's Chief Operating Officer in 2003 and President and CEO the following year. He quickly brought his knowledge of finance and management to bear on its operations, and has guided ambitious and creative organizational growth ever since. For example, despite the recent economic recession and its impact on discretionary income, annual admissions have doubled during Bob's tenure, with attendance rising steadily from about 150,000 visitors to finally surpassing the 300,000 milestone last year. Strong revenue streams have been developed to help sustain financial health and support new initiatives. This year, Brookgreen Gardens is celebrating its 85th anniversary of service to the public, and we're already looking forward to a blowout centennial celebration in 2031. Under Bob's leadership, this has truly been a golden age for Brookgreen Gardens, during which it has received numerous prestigious awards and certifications. Our acclaimed Nights of 1,000 Candles event, which attracted 53,000 guests last December, has become one of the premier holiday events in the Southeast. Bob has initiated and overseen significant enhancements to every component of Brookgreen's mission, notably its world-renowned American figurative sculpture collection and programs, native wildlife zoo, spectacular display gardens, history and archaeology initiatives, and expanded creative education programs and activities for families, which are introducing a new generation of guests to the gardens through such events as our current exhibit, Nature Connects Art with Lego Bricks. I'd just like to note a few highlights that, to me, represent Bob's leadership at Brookgreen. Early in his tenure, Bob introduced and continually advocated a transformative Brookgreen culture of positive attitudes and behaviors extending to all Brookgreen staff and volunteers, and ultimately to our visitors. He encourages senior staff especially to follow his lead and become involved in our communities. For example, giving me both time and his support to participate in the Chamber's leadership and ambassador programs and to serve on multiple boards in Georgetown. Bob developed with Green Assets the first carbon offset project in South Carolina at Brookgreen, which also became a member of the South Carolina Tree Farm Program, continuing to conserve natural resources far into the future. He understands how closely the macrocosm and microcosm of leadership interface. Bob advanced a vision and effectively led the collaborative process that resulted in 2 5-year strategic initiatives during his tenure. He also reads and responds to our visitors' comment cards and often returns with Tony on Sundays for strolls in the gardens to share the visitors' experience and gather their valuable feedback firsthand. As most of you know, Bob will be retiring from his current role at Brookgreen Gardens at the end of this year. But we all believe that it will be even harder for him to retire from this community, which he has championed for more than 2 decades. Please stand to join me in recognizing Bob's exemplary lifetime of leadership.
I'll tell you, the highlight tonight is that I'm going to get a copy of Wendy's speech. And every time my wife, Tony, gets upset with me, I'm going to go, look at this. So, thank you so much, Wendy and Tommy. That was fabulous. And I'm pretty much overwhelmed right now, so forgive me if I stumbled through this. But it's a great honor to be here. And, you know, we have such great staff at Brookgreen, but you know, there's some really funny people there. They have some great senses of humor. So when they heard I was going to be able to give remarks, the first thing everyone did was, how long? And I said, well, Beth said it has to be under 3 minutes, so they all pulled out their stopwatches. So I'm gonna try and live with that, and Eileen has hers on right now. So I have a few prepared remarks, and I'd just like to go through those. But I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Beth Stedman and the Chamber staff, and the Chamber Board for selecting me for the Lifetime of Leadership Award. It's much, much appreciated. And just a quick side segue story. I was pretty euphoric when I heard about this. You know, Beth called me and I was trying to be cool. Yeah, that's nice, wonderful. So I went out and told the first 25 people I found that I'm getting this award. So I told one of the people on our staff, who I'm not going to identify, they're not here tonight, I said, I'm getting the Lifetime Award from the Chamber of Commerce of Leadership. And the person looked at me and goes, you know what the lifetime thing means? It means you're really getting old. Okay, I'll take it, but so it put me in my place a little bit. But I proudly accept the award, knowing it's only made possible by the support and collaboration of so many of the staff, the volunteers and trustees at Brookgreen Gardens, and the support of my family. So without you guys, this doesn't happen. Tony, my wife, for 46 years has supported me all the time when I'm going to all these meetings, and frankly, sometimes I think she's glad I'm going to all these meetings. I haven't quite figured out that dynamic. I have 3 great kids, one who's here tonight. So this award is really about we, it's not about me. And without the majority of the senior management team of Brookgreen Gardens over here, we would not have accomplished half the things that we did. It's a very talented team. We as a community are lucky to have them. There are people that are engaged, you know, in the community, engaged in the state, engaged in the nation. This is dangerous, but a shout out Ron Days, who's our VP of Creative Education, was at the United Nations about 3 weeks ago doing a presentation there, and wherever Ron goes, he always manages to mention Brookgreen Gardens. I have it inside the lapel, under his lapel, inside his coat. So that works for us. But it truly is about we, and it's not about me. So at Brookgreen, as Wendy stated, we spend a lot of time and energy talking about a culture of leadership, and we take it very serious. We quote people like Aristotle and Socrates and Archer and Anna Hyatt Huntington and local philosophers like Randy Dozier from the school system and Sal Hemingway on occasion too. We have to clean it up a little bit, but it still works for us. So, however, there are 2 quotes that we feel set the tone for our leadership culture. And the first is from Vince Lombardi. Yes, Vince Lombardi. He was the former head coach of the Green Bay Packers, one of the premier leaders in the world of football. And he had a quote that I love. He said, "We are going to relentlessly chase perfection, knowing full well we will not catch it because nothing is perfect. But we are going to relentlessly chase it because in the process we will catch excellence." And the second quote that we use to set the tempo at Brookgreen is from Henry James, who's an American writer. And he said, "Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does." Both quotes sum up our leadership approach at Brookgreen. Try to be perfect, but catch excellence along the way, and know whatever you do makes a difference, because it does. So since this is a leadership award, I'll leave you with the following. In addition to Brookgreen, I've had the good fortune the last few years to be on the Bunnell Foundation board. And part of the first sentence of the foundation mission is, in quotes, to improve the quality of life for all Georgetown County residents. I believe this is a very exciting time for our county, and all the components for success are there. We, the leaders here, just need to connect them. We have strong economic development going on. We have supportive and innovative educational initiatives happening. We have great hospital system expansion. We have growth in tourism. We have viable initiatives to preserve our environment going on. Significant cultural advancements are happening every day. And we have an engaged and caring not-for-profit organization. And we have tremendous dynamic leadership in this county. So all of that should support our efforts to improve the quality of life for the citizens in this area. So I would encourage you, all the leaders in this room, to pursue perfection, believe your actions make a difference, and live by the we versus me philosophy. Then we can make the pursuit of perfection and the attainment of excellence possible for all the residents of our county. So thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for this award. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's really almost overwhelming for me, so it touches me emotionally, so thank you. But most importantly, remember, come to Brookgreen Gardens. It is ever-changing and simply amazing. So thank you so much.